the medium that they're already in. As a child, I was given 1/4 for every verse that I learned from my father. And we're going to do very similar things. We have a wallet and a digital currency that you can give and incentivize, and have a leaderboard for learning the Bible together as a family. And just like VeggieTales brought to life on the screen those characters, we have very entertaining things that you can role play and become David, slinging that rock at Goliath. And join us. Thank you for your support in advance. See you on the other side.
Behold, the sacred pages of the Bible where stories of faith, courage, and miracles come to life. Imagine flipping through these pages, each chapter a gateway to a different time and place in history. Step back in time as ancient stories unfold before your eyes. Witness the bravery of David against Goliath. Feel the serenity of the Garden of Eden and stand with Moses before the parting Red Sea. Picture yourself in the heart of history as characters from the Bible come to life. Engage in role play, relearning the tales that have shaped civilizations, sparked revolutions, and inspired generations. What if you could be right there? Introducing Bible.games, an immersive experience on Roblox that takes you back to the source of Christianity, to first century Israel. Right now, we've laid a solid foundation and we're gearing up for full development. With your support, we'll bring the first 20 stories from the Bible to life. With incentivized gamification, we make memorizing verses, stories, and characters exciting and reward. Our free 3D Bible assets, tools, and games offer immersive biblical education in the incredible world of Roblox. Join us at Bible Arcade and embark on a journey of faith, learning, and fun.
This is some behind the scenes with some of our beta users. Sorry, there's a delay in the video. Okay. But this is just some of us testing the game. Right now we have basically one arcade setting where you come in.
So that was our 1, 2, ready, go.
Introduce the game, and then you can role play. And there's 20 different characters and 20 different stories. So there's Bible verses, Bible stories, and Bible characters, of course, that you can go in and become David, killing Goliath, for example. So we have Noah's Ark, and you can see whether a clean or unclean animal. You can bring them on and gamify that. And then we have tokens inside. So once you actually do the task, then you get tokens. So we have brand sponsors to actually incentivize the kids, and then parents as well. On top of that, can add their added layer of incentives, right? So my father, of course, did 1/4 for every verse. So with AI in phase 2, more like Duolingo will add more of a language learning capability and learning those Bible verses. We have a few things that we've done. Playtolearn.com is one of them as well, and the education on that side. We're mainly focused on Roblox, and Gameyear is another B2B tool for basically brands that want to bring to life their brand in Roblox, and we have some new tools that are going to be launching soon, just basically incentivizing that interaction with a new form of advertising in Roblox. So that's basically our ecosystem. And MetaHub is our basically kids agency built for kids by kids in a Discord of about 700 users from 25 countries all over the world, basically helping large brands bring it to life. So thank you so much.
Does anybody have any questions for Josh about what he's doing?
Sure. So the video was saying for your support ahead of time, you know, support, what are you in the stage?
We're going to be doing crowdfunding. It is a charity. We're launching with Austin Ridge, which has about 800 families. IT Sunday School at Austin Ridge. So that's a great use case. So it's half in-reach, half outreach. So for non-Christians, you can still use it. It's almost like Calm app. Like kids have anxiety, they don't want to talk to their parents. It's also very calming in a sense. So for the in-reach, it's elementary Sunday school. Throughout the week, you can play with your parents, incentivizing. It goes along with basically all the curriculum in a sense you have with the church. So Austin Ridge is the blueprint that we're using, and we're going to disseminate it to the, Southern Baptist Convention or whatever. basically we use it with 10,000 other churches, similar to like Orange Curriculum. The beauty of it with that, we didn't go into the APIs and the plugins, which we have for Game Year, which is the other stuff, and we're going to use that IP. But we can have any curriculum plug in, like Bible.com, verse of the day. So when you see it, it interacts and you can be incentivized. So that also correlates to the IP for playtolearn.com as well. So that we have the whole kind of gamut together. So, yeah.
So are you saying it's non-denominational?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what are the tokens for?
The tokens are mainly internal. So it's mainly, there's other similar systems with the school system currently, where 95% of schools use this one system, and they basically, it's only a value is the parents. So the parents create the value. So if they want to basically incentivize the kid to do homework, then they basically give the kid whatever it is, right? In addition to the parents that don't have money, we do want to bring other incentives, just like your Vacation Bible School or Chick-fil-A gives you nuggets, you know, to, hey, do this. We can have an additional, basically, sponsorship to have that. Similar to Awanda's, kind of copying that model and how they do the badge systems for Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. It's very proven. So we will have physical badge systems in Sunday school. So half of that will be the foundation of the church to globally reach out and have that scale globally with that foundation. And then what I like is that never before have you had this scale to reach like Roblox, 66 million daily users, and then we'll do Fortnite next and Minecraft, etc. And then Web3 games once they're back. So Sandbox and Decentraland, etc. once they're back. But there's never been a scalable way to reach the gospel, like to preach the gospel around and have for non-Christians to play with your friend in Siberia, right? And to reach them, normally that wouldn't be scalable, right? But now this is very scalable. So the plugin with 25 different languages is, you know, flip of the switch. So that's what I'm excited about. And that helps our whole ecosystem because it brings into other things like play to learn and education.
So how is the primary thing the tokens, the coins, or is there like a character development piece to this, like, you know, like other video games like Diablo or something, right, where you have, you know, you build up your character and you get all these different artifacts and whatnot?
Well, it's similar to Roblox. Mainly, it's not about beating a level or beating Bowser. You're just going and building a home and you're enjoying tea in the house that you built, like in Bloxburg. That's where the kids are now. That's their new social media. So for us, it's Bible verses, Bible stories, and Bible characters. So when you're role-playing, you're immersing yourself. You learn about 10 to 11 times more when you're immersed compared to static 2D learning. So when you role-play that character, then you learn that verse, and then you're learning that story. So basically, we have at cost about $5,000 per Bible story for each mini game. So we have 20 that we're starting with, and that's about $5,000 per story. And then that will basically be the first phase. Role-playing, as you saw, you could become any of the 20 role-playing those. And then phase 2 would be more generative AI that we have on the others IP, that more like Duolingo, where you learn the Bible verses and then that has a response. And then you either have in-person checking you or you're checked by the software itself.
Welcome. There's pizza, beer, soft drink, water. Help yourself. Charlie, are you ready?
Yeah. Great. Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay.
Just gotta make a final adjustments.
Do you have a video as well?
I do have a video as well. It doesn't have sound.
You'll talk while it's running? Did you email us?
I'll talk while it's running. It's on my. Can I just plug it in? Is that-
Yeah. Did you put the code in?
I don't know the code.
It's right there.
Hi, everybody. My name is Charlie. I'm founder of Math Games. We're the future of math education. There's a huge problem in math. You might have heard of it. A lot of people have math anxiety. I'm not a math person. I hate math. This negatively impacts 1.3 billion students every year, and it stops students from pursuing STEM careers. A lot of people fall off in fractions and algebra when they're in grade school, and it actually stops them from going into engineering and mathematics and programming, which is a huge loss to all of our, civilization's productivity. Our mission is to change that. We want to change the world's relationship with math through gaming, and we're going to have creator tools so that everybody can be a part of that journey. So what do we have is a 3D math video game. It is targeting kids 10 to 19. It's massively multiplayer, and we have user-generated content. I have a video I'd like to show. There's no sound. I'll just talk through it. So you can see the smoke. Oh, it doesn't sound. Yeah, and so the boat goes faster when you have faster numbers. We have a sword, you can chop numbers up. I've seen like a 10-year-old kid learn fractions from just playing with his sword. So just having the visual manipulatives is a lot different and a lot more effective than worksheets. We have guns, we call them gadgets, of course, at school. This is like a bazooka that impacts things by subtracting or adding in groups. We have a level editor that lets you create your own content, your own levels, and modify stuff and share it. So this is a prototype, and we are currently on track to release our MVP by September. So I'm going to stop the video here and keep going with the presentations.
Like next September?
This coming September. So the next September, yeah, it's October now, right? Yeah. Yep, market size for us, we say it's about 2 billion. It's tough to nail it down because of math versus other education sectors. Roughly 2 billion. So there's a bunch of billion-dollar companies that are eager in gaming or education, but the problem is that the ones on the top, they've done a great job of the learning side, and they're not super fun to play. They're kind of tedious. The ones at the bottom, Minecraft and Roblox, the big gamer players, they're really super fun to play, but they're not focused on mathematics, not focused on education. So our game is going to have both of those. That's our competitive landscape. So our team is Federico, my co-founder, is in California, and myself. We've been doing this for 10 years together, building different stuff. We have a bunch of super fans already, so we have a really strong user base. He's been in education for 20 years, and we've shipped a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to waste time telling you about them all, but we ship things. We're not just going to sit around. So yeah, September is when it's happening. Our roadmap is we're going to demo GDC, whatever we have at that time, and we're raising 2.5 million. MVP September 24, and then in 2025 is when we're going for creator tools and AI. I love to geek out on AI and all the data we'll be able to collect from players here, because when you have students who are learning math in real time in a 3D environment, there's so much data about where they go, how do they explore things, what are they reacting to, what's their learning style, how do they deal with failure. That kind of data is going to be super useful to help understand what is the learner's profile, how are they going to be able to learn better, is this way of teaching something better than that. Love to geek out on the data stuff, and that's our roadmap. Thank you.
Questions? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you shipped a bunch of stuff. How's that going for revenue coming from that? Anything? Is that what's carrying you to the raise in March?
No. So we learned a ton of things shipping things in the past, and the number one thing we learned is that just building something awesome isn't enough. You need to have a strong marketing, go-to-market strategy, partnerships, distribution channels, all that business stuff is super boring. You have to do that, it turns out. You can't just build fun stuff. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. Yeah.
Why did you decide to build your own platform versus taking advantage of what exists like Minecraft and Roblox?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So it is true that you could build something similar in Minecraft and Roblox, but these platforms are fundamentally limited in what you can express, especially if you want to do complex mathematics or have your own game mechanics. So we decided that the quality game experience we're going for, the specific types of stuff we wanted to teach and how. So for example, we have something called the fraction sword, which is one of our best gadgets, and our game is full of numbers. So there's like a basketball sized 5, chop it in half, and it splits apart and becomes a 2.5 and a 2.5. It's a very important visual manipulative for kids to learn fractions. It's very difficult to replicate something like that in Minecraft or Roblox and have it look and feel and be timed correctly. And there's a whole bunch of mechanics like that. So for that reason, we're building our own.
Probably also the data too, huh?
Gotta keep that data, you know. Yes.
How high up can you go? You know, is it good to teach like additions, subtractions, fractions, but what about things like algebra or calculus or anything higher?
Yeah, that's a great question. So mathematics is huge. There's no way that our company is going to be able to produce a game that encompasses everything in calculus and geometry and all these other things. So we're going to build the MVP with fractions and algebra and stuff like that. But more importantly, we're building creator tools for anybody to be able to create math games within our platform. Similar to Roblox or Minecraft, as he was alluding to, those platforms do enable anybody who can code to build their own game within it. And we're going to do the same thing so that if there's creators who want to build, for example, a set theory game, which we have a prototype of, or a Turing training game, which we have a prototype of, we want to empower those creators to create that on our platform. And not only we're going to help them create it, but we'll help them make it fit within all the other pieces of our game and make it fun to play and polish. Because it's one thing to have a game idea, and it's very much another thing to make a game that's actually playable and bug-free. So we're not just going to be a platform, we're going to be a publishing company for those types of items.
Are you guys doing, is it going to be mobile app, is it going to be PCs, Xbox?
Yeah, so the question is what platforms we're on, mobile, PC, Xbox. So we're going to go web first, mainly because it's super easy to publish. You push publish and it's done. So we're web first. You can technically play on mobile devices, but it's not going to be a great experience. So we're targeting mainly PC, Mac via the web for the foreseeable future. Obviously, we'd love to be on consoles as well, but that's kind of a future conversation.
Yeah.
And mobiles as well.
Yeah, what's your monetization strategy?
Monetization strategy is basically freemium with subscriptions. So it's free to play, anybody can play. But if you want extra content, if you want cool hats for your character, you have to pay a subscription for that. Teachers will pay a subscription for the data on their students. You know, the classical students, you want to know how's Johnny doing, how's Susie doing, where are their blockers, what lessons should I assign them. They would pay a subscription for managing the classroom and also getting data on their students.
So do you foresee the future of education being teachers being like, pass this level as your homework?
Hell yes.
That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Hey everybody, my name is Caleb Dykema. I am founder of Vault, and we provide B2B solutions for sportsbook affiliates. So what is a sportsbook affiliate? So sportsbooks like DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, 30% of their traffic comes from affiliates. It's basically different creators, apps, websites that drive traffic. So for example, a creator could be streaming, talking about a bet that they're placing, and be like, hey, bet on MGM for a discount or something like that, right? User clicks on that discount, they get, and go and place a bet on BetMGM, and then that creator, that affiliate, gets a cut from that, right? So we help power a lot of these affiliates in a few different ways. The first way is we're an affiliate network. So to be an affiliate for a sports book requires a lot of work. One, you have to be big enough to actually talk with a brand like DraftKings or a BetMGM. And two, even bigger, is you need to shell out like $20,000, $30,000+ for the licenses to legally be allowed to affiliate market. So what we are is an affiliate network. We're an umbrella. We have these deals set up with these different operators. We have these different licenses, and then creators and companies can come underneath us, operate with us, and we can get you up and running and promoting these books within a matter of a couple days. Second thing we do is we are aggregated odds. So we aggregate odds for scores, game scores, odds, promos, odds boosts across all major sports books like DraftKings, FanDuel, that kind of thing. And then the last thing we do is white label different apps. So we actually started in the consumer space. We had built an app that allowed sports bettors to track their bets, view their stats, follow their trends. And now we're actually shifting over to B2B. So we're white labeling this for different companies to be able to engage their user base more, drive more affiliate traffic, that kind of thing. So my ask tonight is if you know anybody that's a creator or is looking to drive sports betting traffic, is looking for odds, or a larger company like an ESPN, Fox, CBS that's looking for a white label bet tracking app, let me know. We'd love to connect with you. Thank you. Any questions?
For the affiliate network, so what's kind of the minimum person coming into like a client of yours? Like what's the like you said, you're breaking down these barriers, so what's the lowest tier person that like gets a use out of your service?
Yeah. So you can come in to our service with, like no money required. We make a cut. We basically make a cut from any revenue that you make, so there's no upfront fees or anything like that. Generally speaking, we like to work with creators or companies that have some sort of momentum. They don't need to be big, but as long as they're showing like, hey, we're actually, going to be gaining 1,000 or 10,000 users over the next month or whatever next year, then we want to work with you. Reason being is we're kind of the differentiator between our affiliate network versus others is we're very white glove. So we've been in the space for like 4 years and we know how to affiliate market, and so we're working with our creators and basically like, here's what to say, here's not what to say, like here's how to do this in a way that's like, educational or that kind of thing, right? And so we just want to make sure that we're working with creators that are going to listen to us and follow the steps, and then everybody's successful.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Can you do this for esports as well? I've seen that there's some now fantasy or some sports betting on esports.
Yeah, so to be honest, I don't know the esports space very well. It's something that I know I need to get educated in more. There's kind of like this Venn diagram with esports and sports betting, and it's slowly coming together over these years, but it's taken a lot longer than people had thought. So I still think we have a few years before they're one and the same. But yeah, we're just focused mainly on sports betting, and then DFS right now, daily fantasy right now.
Is sports betting bigger in the United States or Europe?
It's been around a lot longer in Europe, so it's just like kind of baked into their culture. I would say in terms of like rate of growth, I think US is a lot faster.
Yeah.
Just because it kind of baked into our culture again, right? Like this competitive culture plus this love for sports. So, we're still kind of in the first, second, third inning in the sports betting space here in the US, but I can see it being a lot bigger than a lot of the other markets in the world.
Yeah, we still have states that's not even approved.
Yeah, I mean Texas and California are not even legalized yet, and so those are going to be huge, crazy. And then Florida's like kind of on the fence, like about to go for it. So we got a long ways to go before it's fully across the nation.
Cool. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Hi guys, my name is Adi. This is a little bit of a two-part pitch, there's kind of two parts to this. Hobbyist Fantasy is something I started about 1.5 years ago. We're basically a fantasy basketball app. Now if any of you guys are NBA fans or you've ever tried playing fantasy basketball, you know that it just sucks. It's very slow. You have to watch 82 games a season. A lot of people don't start watching until the playoffs start in March or April. And so an industry statistic is that less than 20% of fantasy basketball players actually stick it out and stay in the entire league. So we set out to kind of create this fantasy basketball app to improve player retention for NBA teams and for creators. And so we came up with Hobbyist Fantasy. Basically, it's a stock market for sports where there's no real money involved. It's all in-game money. And the idea is you compete against your friends to buy stock of different NBA players. And we got to over 1,000 users in about a year, kind of just through word of mouth. Super popular, had really solid retention, got meetings with a couple NBA teams who really loved it. But we're changing the model on that now. We're actually rolling out a new update for this season that's going to take a bit more of a gamified approach. And it's going to be more head-to-head. So you're actually going to be paired with someone on the app, you're doing a live game, and you're going to draft 5 players, they're going to draft 5 players, and and you're gonna compete head to head on things like over and unders. That's one side. That's the app side of it. 8 weeks ago, we actually started a media house. So we brought on a new head of content, JC, who runs the 40-Yard Line podcast at UT. It's the largest non-UT affiliated podcast at UT. It's all text, athletics, NFL. And partnering up with JC, we formed the 512 Sports Network, which is a media arm under Populous Fantasy Group. And in 8 weeks, we've added 5 different podcasts. We had 40-Yard Line, which is always there. We added the Fast Track, which is our new F1 show. We added the 512 Sports Show, which is going to be our upcoming NBA show. Some of you guys know Alec Alvarez. He's big in the sports scene here. We partnered with him on his show, the Smart Alec Show. This week we launched Off the Deep End, which is our biggest show. We're actually, one of our hosts is an Olympic silver medalist. The other is an NCAA 20-time champion. Later this month, we're adding 2 new shows. We're adding Opening Batsman, which is going to cover the Cricket World Cup in India, and we're also adding an NFL show as well. So it's kind of fast-growing media house plus fantasy sports platform. UT's kind of where we're basing it out of. I'm still a junior. I still have 2 more years to graduate, but yeah, it's kind of where we're at. If you're interested in the content, if you have experience in content creation or podcasting, then you go and chat. Yeah, that's about it.
Question. Quick question. What's your ultimate goal?
I'd say the goal is to build a good fantasy sports app and build a good media house. It's kind of a two-sided mission.
Who invented basketball?
And where? Dr. James Naismith, Canada. Fast. Yeah,
I
look
mean,
it up.
I feel like the
You need to know
Romans
that.
were
Is that
probably
Kansas?
dribbling things. No?
We come from basketball.
So,
Kansas.
so
I'll bet.
for the sports, the like 1v1 side of this and all, is that going to be, you know, are these 2 things together where someone's on that app and there's just like a tab for, hey, you can stay in here and listen to a bunch of media, or are you really keeping them quite separate?
It's kind of, it's actually the other way around.
Okay.
To grow the app itself, we've kind of put out all this media.
Got it.
And the media, you know, it's all very integrated. The creators, they retain their own followings, their own revenue, but everyone kind of comes around this app.
Okay.
Kind of, it's weird, but it works.
Yeah.
It works cool.
I just wanted to ask Claire. Oh, sorry.
No, please do. Okay, next. I have 2 questions if that's okay. Did you say someone like competes to buy the stock of a team or something? Like, how does that work?
It's basically a stock market, so it's purely run on supply and demand. Basically, behind the scenes, it's measuring player sentiment. So you're buying stock, but you know if the price is going up, and you start with a limited balance. So we have in-game currency. You start with a limited balance. If the stock price goes up, then obviously you can't buy that stock anymore. If it goes down.
And the other thing is, when you're doing when you're paired against another person on the app during the game, you're drafting 5 players. Are both people drafting from both teams? Like,
I'll be honest, we've yet to figure that out. We published to the App Store yesterday, and we're still figuring out the in-game dynamics. But yeah,
What was it?
how the head-to-head works. You have a question as well?
No, I think that answered this one.
Any more?
So is it essentially like prop betting? So somebody says, I believe this player is going to perform at this level, and here's
Basically
what's going to
that.
happen.
You know,
That's essentially what you're
a lot of
creating a
people-
market for prop bets?
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, they like to pick prospects early on. If any of you guys watch basketball, like, you know, the Spurs just drafted Victor Wemby, and he's like the #1 prospect in years. Because he's tall, he's skinny, he's fast, he's aggressive. So a lot of people, you know, they might buy a stock now while it's relatively cheap, and in the hopes that he becomes, you know, the next Steph Curry or the next LeBron. And people, you know, 5-10 years down the line, they love having that clout of like, yeah, I knew this player was gonna pop off, like when he was still a rookie. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the mentality.
And are you actually, so you're the contract, you know, sort of admin, so like somebody creates, so 2 people or multiple people will create a contract and then you will administer the contract, and you know, if it's over some duration of time, then you'll be the one that's paying it out, is that?
So there's no payout per se. It's all in game, free to play. We're not touching any real money. We're actually not even considered fantasy sports, technically speaking. We're considered a mobile game. So the advantage of that is we're legal everywhere, and we can market to anyone, even if they're like under 18 or under 21.
So players aren't actually wagering real money or anything like that? Oh, okay.
But you are doing in-game currency? So you're a clearinghouse for those in-game currencies to exchange based on who?
Based on like internal dynamics, basically. It's just a simple supply and demand model. The back end is very simple. Yeah. It's just the dynamics, the way we've gamified it, it makes it a lot more interactive. But there's no like complex algorithm or anything behind the scene as such.
One thing that's interested me with what you're, as listening to you speak about it, is the potential to make NFTs for a career person. So if I acquire somebody early, I could maybe like trading cards back and forth, right? Like anyway, like So Rare, some other companies that have gone into the fantasy sports NFT space, right?
Yeah, I mean, so surprisingly enough, a lot of people have told us we should go the crypto route. When we started in early 2022, like that was still when the big crypto boom was happening. So, we genuinely considered like, what if we minted our own cryptocurrency and had that on the back end of the platform? But first of all, the legal implications of that are very unclear. Second, crypto just kind of died out, so we're like, yeah, we're not gonna do that for the time being. But yeah.
So you can buy in-game currency, but you can't sell it, right?
You can't buy it either. You start with a limited amount, and there's no way to change it, unless you reset crypto.
So then how do you make money?
Right now we're still figuring it out.
Because if you were administering the contract, then you take a bid or something. But
so we used to be a B2B model. Because what you're measuring behind the scenes is essentially player sentiment, the way the stock prices move, the way who's buying, who's selling. You can measure sentiment around players, and we thought we could sell that data to sports books or to DFS companies to help them set things like betting odds. But we reached out to one company. We were this close to having a deal with them, and they backed out. And at that point, we were like, do we really want to do this? Like, we could just do like in-game purchases or something like that. So, still exploring.
Do you have a target user number, like monthly active users, where once you get this number, then you're going to start thinking about monetization?
I would say 10,000.
Alright guys, look, there's like another hour, so eat pizza, drink beer, get to know each other. And let me know, if you parked in the garage, Emily has validations. And if you didn't, next time you can.
Is it closer to the scoop? No, it's not close to the wall. No. Oh, the scooter? Oh, no. You don't think so? You can. It's like, it's like this area where it's like, or 11, look, we do it the same. All based on logos. That's the sign of the yeah, we don't work on this. Kind of in this space when you're an affiliate. That's a great idea. I didn't realize we talked about it before. I mean, I knew about this.
I think we're in a pretty good position because we are already writing all this stuff. We should like cover the
actually aware of what they're
If I want to go to a non-systematic state like that, I can start to yeah, I'm not sure. So the forces go.
Well, I mean, I actually know all of that, but their life is really miserable. Right? Because you're in the athletes, iCloud, recreate that. That's a Illinois where I can do that.
So what happened? You can't stay on too You want to double down. So what did it say? What did it say? It says Dr. James
Yeah, I don't know, like,
there's no way I can spin this. You just happen to be sitting next to the guy. I know. You're like the only guy in the fucking city that knows. I know. It's like, yeah, I know this. Check the author of that article. No, it's me. The Bulls. That was the guy that just designed that office. And people play that shit.
I always write I didn't know this should be possible.
Canadian American. Well, that's exactly made the right choice.
I don't know, like, and my mindset's like, and he was named on it. I kind of felt like I was halfway because I knew so whether it was then actually explaining our
is that what they do? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we're trying to raise the PC right now.
exactly a year ago we did our very first draft party test yesterday.
We are able to help your road like 500 gigs and more races. We're running pretty lean right now.
Of course. So what I would say is that
Maybe my sister was at the same point. And she moved every single day, just changed life. She moved like an hour or something away from where she was.
We're gonna have to run over for 2
yeah, I think you might have met my sister there. Yeah, I'll start that was flying out.
Thanks, Justin.
I'm so glad you're here. And you didn't actually, even though you're conversation, Nathan, right? What do you
I don't think he came with Mark. Mark was here today.
Oh, well, I wrote up an elevator note. I was like, oh, meet my friend. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Mark actually was with the firm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's with the firm of the. I think it is his firm. Yeah, no, I worked against him. We all like. No. We just want to go to your car. Yeah, just because and vice versa.
So, good?
Yeah,
I got 2 minutes. And if I want to wait,
I don't mean to drink it on the road. I'm not trying to get you. I want you to lose your walleye. Don't drink and drive. That is illegal advice. Yeah.
So we're going to get some questions.
That's the only illegal advice I'm giving out. Yeah, it was pretty good. No, drink and drive.
You don't have to put money when you're
I saw that on Capital Factory last week. I was like, fuck. I'm going to change this real quick. Before you guys go, if you want, at the end.
We're going to have some fair options inside of the game, but it's all collateral. And so building comes in like,
if you want to scan the QR code, any feedback, like it's just a link to a Google search.
I know you're still not money, but you have to go.
What did I see?
Like a lot of reasons for
Yes. I wouldn't honestly. truly sad thing is because I wouldn't even know how to do it. I couldn't tell you the first thing.
Did you guys see that thing during ETX where there's like 1,000 drones floating up in the sky in South Austin? And it was just like, it was a countdown for like an hour, and then it finally got to 0 and it turned into a QR code. So then I